So Dr. Gadegaonkar has already simplified my talk. I'll be speaking on fracture clavicle plating part. Now, already the anatomy has been discussed. It's an S-shaped bone, and it's from lateral to medial. When you come, it is concave laterally and convex medially. And if you see the cut section of the clavicle, it is laterally it is flat, in center it is circular, and medially it is prismatic. So the canal is also very, it's S-shaped, so it's very difficult to negotiate a nail, which he said. So we as orthopedic surgeons, we are used to plating. So this becomes a relatively simple procedure. But again, the shape of the clavicle, we require special contoured shaped plates. And also we have to keep in mind the neurovascular bundle which is lying below. So even the drill bit that we drill the clavicle, below are the deeper neurovascular structures. So always be careful of the subclavian artery vessels, the brachial plexus, as this diagram shows. Deforming forces also, this slide has been covered by sir. The classification also has been covered. Now, some literature review, meta-analysis report which I went through, and I got some inference was, operative treatment reduces the non-union, malunion and neurological complication rates of fracture clavicle, but does not affect delayed union. Now, if the patient is operated or non-operated, delayed union is going to have same amount of delayed union. The rates of delayed union are same. But if you operate these fractures, the rates of non-union and malunion are less with this. Another study also concludes the same results. And whereas they say the operative treatment improves the functional scores, the constant scores and the dash scores are improved if you operate these patients. And patients, they say the patients of, when you take up these patients for surgery, you have to explain to the patients that they should be informed that there will be a high risk of non-union or malunion if the fracture is treated conservatively. Like suppose a patient is not willing for surgery, so if he goes for conservative treatment, figure of 8, so you have to tell the patient that there are chances of you undergoing non-union or malunion with this, because a lot of time we get these patients, with bump, where the fragments are overridden, and then they keep complaining that why this cosmetic deformity is there. So that's what we have to explain these patients first when we are treating them conservatively. And the studies have also shown that the complication rates of operative group are less, that is 23%, and non-operative treatment complication rates are 26%. This is a very big slide, but I don't know how much you can read from here, but they have elaborated the complications of vascular complication, the malunion, non-union, overriding of the fragments. They have described neurological complications also, but conservatively I still have not seen any neurological complications, but they have been described in the literature. Coming to the surgical technique part, it's an S-shaped bone, but then we have to take a 8 to 10 centimeter incision over the fracture site, and typically middle third fractures are very common. So we are describing this procedure for the middle third. You have to be very careful of the suprascapular and for the nerve, because like we do humerus plating, we identify the radial nerve. So similarly we have to isolate the supraclavicular nerve and put the plate below the nerve. So just don't think that it's like an ulna that you just open and right the bone is in front of you, but we have to respect the nerves and respect the soft tissues, maintain the biology as far as possible, cut the clavipectoral fascia and just do a minimal exposure so that the bone is seen and the muscles are attached anteriorly and posteriorly. This is the anatomy of the clavicle where the muscle attachments are shown. Medially you have the sternocleidomastoid, the pectoralis major, and laterally we have the deltoid and the trapezius. Then after we expose the fracture site, we hold the fracture site with a towel clip and achieve the reduction. Now once the reduction is achieved, if we have an oblique fracture, then you can put an interfrac screw, as we are well versed with. Previously we never had these clavicular plates, but nowadays we have excellent clavicular plates which are comes in different sizes, and for the left and the right side they have different ones, and accordingly we can select the plate size which we want to put, and after putting the lag screw, then we put a neutralization plate following the AO principles of the central and the eccentric sleeve. Now also a literature review on the superior versus anterior inferior plating. Now both have got their pros and cons. Like what they say is superior plating leads to increased rate of patient reported implant prominence, because the implant gets prominent, there is prominence of the plate, and sometimes the plate is also actually seen just below the skin it lies. So that's why these lock plates have got, they are flat, and the screw heads are not prominent. This is an example which they have shown. And always consider unicortical screw fixation. Don't try to achieve a second cortex hold, because below are the neurovascular structures which you should be very careful. This is a technique shown for a transverse fracture where we don't attempt an interfac screw, we just put a plate and achieve compression. Superior plating, as I told you, which we don't attempt to have an opposite purchase hold. This is a photograph shown the plate contoured sitting well on it, and this is the anterior inferior plate where we attempt putting a plate from the anterior inferior side, so that the screw are directed either posteriorly or they are directed superiorly, which is physically it is very difficult to do this, but then books have described this. The closure has to be very meticulous. We have to give a wash, and we have to suture the platysma and also so that the plate gets covered. And in this, the pearl is to take a osteoperiosteal sleeve along with the suture. When you take a stitch, you take the periosteum also along with it, and so that the skin gets opposed. Try to take subcuticular stitches, because as was rightly mentioned, in ladies, they wear this dress, so the clavicle is seen and the scar looks horrible, and so many times it undergoes a keloid formation. So you have to prevent that by giving a subcuticular suture. Something about this lateral end fracture, lateral end clavicle fracture also, we have these special plates which are meant for the lateral end clavicle. Also hook plates, where the lateral fragment is so small we can't get any purchase. So those hook plates are available, where we actually put the hook below the acromion. This I don't have any experience, but this just photographs I have put up. And when you are putting this plate, the direction of the screw has to be borne in mind, where the screw is directed, whether it's directed towards the vessels or we are directing it posteriorly. To try to measure the screw size and then only put it. And final result is what we achieve is, we want the patient to unite well, and so that he gets good function. This was one other patient which I had done. So this is what that keloid, that scar he got, and also the plate which I had, which was not the AO plate. So this was a locally made plate which we used in the initial days. So on table we were confused whether this is a left side plate or the right side plate, because the left side plate was not fitting on the left clavicle. So you can see the distal end of the plate is flying off somewhere. So this was the technical difficulty which we faced, but fortunately this fellow united. But then with this horrible scar and the X-ray also looking the plate somewhere off. So the conclusion is we have to give good results to the patients, and as far as possible the metal work has to be removed, so that again the patient requires a second procedure. And during the second procedure it is very difficult to isolate the nerves again, because during the first procedure we identified it, but the second procedure you might damage the nerve and might cause hypostasia over the chest. And always take care of vascularity. When you are drilling, be very careful. The drill bit should not pass beyond the second cortex. Neurological involvement has to be kept in mind, and there are chances of non-union, malunion or delayed union. And also infection. When the skin breakdown occurs, then it's a horrible scar the patient gets, the plate becomes prominent. So always keep that in mind, explain to the patient, and then only go for such surgeries. Thank you.